To the 46th AGM of Reliance Industries, the annual general meeting marking the dawn of this new era at the conglomerate. So within that, Nita Ambani has stepped down from the board, while the Ambani siblings, Akash, Isha and Anant, they've joined the board of directors instead. Meanwhile, Mukesh Ambani is going to remain the chairman for the next 5 years. And at that event at the AGM, Mukesh Ambani has laid out this comprehensive picture of the various business verticals. He shared growth plans as well. Here are some of the key highlights of that event, including the date of the launch of the Jio Air Fiber and the entry of Jio Financial Services into the insurance business. This is what we got from Chairman Mukesh Ambani at the 46th Reliance AGM.
And we are on track to cover the entire country by December of this year. This makes Jio 5G the fastest ever 5G rollout of this scale anywhere in the world. Today, nearly 85% of the total 5G cells operational in India are in Jio's network. And we will have nearly 1 million 5G cells operational in our network by December. With over 50 million 5G customers, we are already leading in 5G adoption in India. And we are the only company with the capacity to smoothly transition our entire 4G customer base to 5G with minimum additional capital expenditure. With the growing adoption of Jio 5G, our net port-ins via mobile number portability was 5 times than that of our nearest competitor. We truly appreciate the confidence placed in us by our customers. Enter the insurance segment to offer simple yet smart life, general and health insurance products through a seamless digital interface, potentially partnering with global players. It will use predictive data analytics to co-create contextual products with partners and cater to customer requirements in a truly unique way. Dear shareholders, just like Jio and retail, JFS too will prove to be an invaluable addition to the Reliance ecosystem of customer-facing businesses. I have 3 reasons to be absolutely confident about JFS achieving tremendous success over the next few years. First, the digital-first architecture of JFS will give it an unmatched head start to reach millions of Indians. Second, this is a highly capital-intensive business. Your company has provided JFS with a strong capital foundation to build a best-in-class, trusted financial services enterprise and achieve rapid growth. Reliance has capitalized JFS with a net worth of rupees 1,20,000 crores to create one of the world's highest capitalized financial services platforms at inception. Third, JFS is blessed with a very strong board led by Shri K.V. Kamath, a veteran and most respected banker.
Our stores received more than 78 crore footfalls during the year, and the number of registered customer base grew to nearly 25 crore. We're delivering value to over 30% of India's addressable population. All this has made Reliance Retail rank among the top 10 most visited retailers in the world.
Well, that's what we got from the AGM. What were the key highlights? For that, my colleague Shomit Sarkar is joining us from our research team. Shomit, the 46th Reliance AGM, perhaps it didn't meet the expectations of the street, but do tell us what we came away with from there.
Well, no big bang announcements coming in from Reliance Industries AGM on the telecom business. Mukesh Ambani, who's the chairman of the company, said that Jio has nearly 5 crore 5G users on its network so far, and going forward he's expecting more of 2G users to shift on Jio network with the launch of Jio Bharat phone. On Jio Air Fiber, he did mention that the launch date will be September 19th, and with the launch of Jio Fiber, the total addressable market for the broadband segment of Jio platform will increase by around 200 million homes, that is nearly 20 crore homes. homes. Now, on the AI side, he said that they are aiming to develop India-specific AI models, and they have already started recruiting talent to develop these India-specific AI models. When it comes to the retail segment, he did mention that several market investors have shown interest in Reliance Retail, but he did not disclose any further information on that front, and he did say that he will update the shareholders as and when there is a significant announcement coming in when it comes to the Reliance Retail, that is the retail arm of Reliance Industries. And he also mentioned that had Reliance Retail been listed on the stock exchanges, it would have been the fourth largest Indian company based on the latest round of fundraise that the company had done. Now, going forward, when it comes to the FMCG business of Reliance Retail, he did say that he aims to take few of the FMCG brands globally in Asia and Africa as well, and the retail business would be the fastest growing when it comes to revenue and EBITDA. Lastly, when it comes to Jio Financial, the recently listed financial arm of Reliance Industries, he did say that they aim to take the AMC sector to digital first industry, and in AMC they have already tied up with BlackRock. When it comes to the insurance, they will enter the insurance segment with life, health and general insurance product, and they will also tie up with a global partner. And on the lending side, he said that the company is developing a payment infrastructure to serve both the consumers and the merchants. To sum it up, no big announcement, just one key announcement or one key statement coming in from Mukesh Ambani on the retail side, and that is several marquee investors have shown interest in Reliance Retail.
Well, that's absolutely right, Shomit. There were no big bang announcements, and perhaps that's what really affected the street. But let's break this down with market experts joining us on this edition of India Tonight. Mahantesh Sabarad with us, independent market expert, along with the head of equity at William O'Neill India, Mayuresh Joshi, is also with us. Great to have you both, gentlemen. Mayuresh, to you first. In terms of this leadership transition, this was, of course, on the anvil. It has been announced now at this 46th Reliance AGM, this kind of elevation for the Ambani siblings. How would you describe the significance of that elevation at this time for the future when it comes to their businesses, the kind that each of them is going to lead?
Very good evening, Vikram. So I think the succession plan was very much in the works over the last few years. And if you see the independent working in terms of developing these businesses as a tech-enabled solution, both the retail part of the business and the Jio part of the business as well, I think both Isha and Anant have probably done a good job in probably delivering what is probably expected in terms of numbers. So I think the entire crux from the chairman's speech was that Reliance is expected to be looked forward as a tech company or a tech-enabled solution provider rather than a typical oil manufacturing it was a few years back. And therefore, the evolution that it has probably gone through and the succession plan, which has already been in the works, I think it is working. So I think the numbers are testimony to that. The kind of pedigree investors who are backing both these retail-oriented businesses is also a testimony to the whole aspect. So I think it's more a learning curve that both of them have probably gone through in the respective businesses and are more than capable of driving future growth on their own. Obviously, I think the mentoring is going to come through, as the chairman himself said.
And perhaps that, in a sense, is the transition that we are talking about from the oil kind of conglomerate that we have been looking at, where oil is at the as the cornerstone of the business, as it were. Now we're looking at tech-enabled solutions, like Mayuresh is pointing out. Mahantesh, now that Mukesh Ambani is into his late 60s, he's going to remain chairman for another 5 years. How do you see his succession plan getting executed in phases over the next 5 years with the growth that Reliance envisages in their diverse businesses?
Firstly, I think Mukesh Ambani already mentioned that he will act as a mentor to the new directors, his daughter and his sons. That mentoring will probably last for another 5 years. He's going to continue to remain the chair at the helm of the affairs for the next 5 years, so that mentoring activity will continue. To answer your question, therefore, the mentoring process will continue as it is. I'm not taking away credit from all three of them, that they have been in the Reliance kind of environment and worked hands-on on various aspects of the business. They have seen and actually sown the growth of the new age Reliance that we are seeing. and therefore I see this transition coming in at an appropriate time and fairly smooth enough, I would say, that is happening with the most of the capex done on the three verticals to make it future ready. I expect Reliance will start reaping the benefits of that capex in the years to come.
Fair enough. Yes, indeed. That remains to be seen. But meanwhile, Mayuresh, the markets were very keen to hear some IPO action when it comes to retail and telecom. None came through, and clearly the disappointment showed in the way the Reliance stock moved. But what do you reckon is the game plan on demerging those businesses after the financial arm Jio Financial's listing?
So Vikram, to a large extent, exactly 5 years back in 19, he had clearly mentioned that in 5 years, he'll probably look at demerging all these businesses put together. So there's one more year to go. So let's see what happens in the next 3 quarters or 4 quarters, and whether any development happens in terms of the demerger news itself. Nobody was expecting Jio Financial to happen so fast, and it has happened. So I think there is every probability and possibility that this might come through in the next few quarters. Having said that, I think even on the financial part of the business, the Jio Financial arm, is extremely well capitalized, as the chairman himself said. Experienced team of bankers expected to lead that. And again, entirely a tech-enabled digital platform expected to come through. And the low-hanging fruits, both in terms of consumer durable loans, as an example, the tie-up with BlackRock for asset management services, a tie-up with a global firm for the insurance part of the business, and looking at the untapped opportunity for a lot of credit growth that is still needed in the system via the digital route, will mean that the cost optimization goes through. And with a healthy balance sheet upfront that they've got with the database at their behest, I think you might see some wonders coming through. The exact strategy is something that will come through, in my opinion. The exact quantum of details probably disappointed the street, as well as the timeline. But I think you have to take that in your stride. There is still some time to go before these things can actually fructify.
Right, so we might have to wait a little longer, but Mahantesh, with that 1% stake sale in Reliance Retail to Qatar Investment Authority, how do you see their brick and mortar as well as their e-commerce industries? How do you see them taking shape and form under the leadership of Isha Ambani and her millennial talent, as it were?
So I think retail business has done wonderfully well. As it is, Reliance's consolidated revenue now comes, almost half that revenue comes from the consumer side of the business, which is essentially retail, Jio, etc. So you would notice, therefore, that they are now well-seeded kind of business verticals. With Qatar Investment Authority coming in, I suspect that soon, and the next step, therefore, for Reliance would be to try and aim to grow beyond the retail presence in India and trying to grow, probably have a global footprint, so to say. So my reading of the entire things that are happening at Reliance, with Jio coming in roughly about 8 odd years ago, to the retail business rapidly growing now with a 18,000 kind of stores presence is large enough for a country like India already. And therefore, the next step there have to be something that's a bit global. We will soon hear about that global footprint coming in. Maybe, therefore, you might envisage a joint venture or
Yes.
a strategic partner coming in. UIA would enable that process.
Yes, indeed. So Reliance has also talked about their launching of the Jio Air Fiber, their wireless indoor 5G device. Do tell me, as far as the outlook goes, because we are talking about the kind of projects and the kind of outflows, how much of a game changer do you think the new management is going to bring about with their ability to draw in global investments? We are talking about QIA and their interest. How much more are they going to be able to drive all their future projects with the kind of management push and the succession plan that is now upon us, Mayuresh?
So to a large extent, Vikram, they have been successful so far, and under the able mentorship and with such an able board to probably assist them. I think the next 5 years are going to be a huge transitory phase in terms of these businesses maturing even more. So I think retail and Jio will see the peak of their revenue generating abilities based on the tech-enabled platform that we probably got to probably deliver even more in the next 4 to 5 years, and probably put that on auto mode and just innovate in terms of the strategic inputs that are probably required. So to that extent, I think the entire perspective that was put forth in terms of the entire digital fiber being built by the company, and then that can be tweaked in terms of both domestic as well as global usage by both corporates and households as well. I think that can be a huge game changer as we enter into a tech-enabled world and as technological processes evolve even further in the next few years. So I think a step in the right direction. I think we are probably foreseeing how the world is going to change technologically over the next 15, 20 years, and they're preparing themselves for it.
So both our guests seem to be on the same page when it comes to ability and the positivity in the outlook as far as Reliance's current positioning and their drive for the future is concerned. And we'll keep watching that space for more. Mayuresh Joshi, Mahantesh Sabarad, many thanks for joining us with your perspective on this edition of India Tonight. Meanwhile, staying with Reliance,